got something that I thought I'd never see. And they could keep looking for a love like you and me.
Matrilineal. I eat mangoes like my grandmother, pressing thumb pads into flesh delicately, resisting a surgeon nick into the juices, palpating the seed, freeing it of the juice inside. I bite a small hole in the top and squeeze carefully, nectar flowing into my mouth until all that remains is skin clung to seed. I eat chicken like my mother, paring meat from bone, gristle from joint, split in half and marrow sucked dry. Yes, I know there is more chicken, but this one must be fully worshipped and laid bare. I grow like my aunt, beds full of married man's pork and poor man's time. Cucumbers, abundance calls me home. Happy Wednesday and welcome to the Dom Experience podcast presented by R.A.R.E Media. I am Cinnamon Vixen.
And I am Dominus.
And we have a guest today. Paul is here with us.
I like that intro.
I'm so excited. But before we jump in, I have been coming to this realization as I read my book about how intense and how deep things are. And I was reading those first two sections and I was like, damn, this is sexy.
I was thinking
it's a whole sensual.
I was like, oh, juice and skin and seeds.
I was like, we're pressing thumb pads into flesh.
Those mangoes are sexy.
Mangoes are sexy. We're like palpating seeds.
Every time I eat a mango, I think I'm eating something else.
Like, but each one, there's a whole goddess worship of a chicken bone,
right
halfway in. But also, it's funny because that poem is about my matrilineal line, and it's been said that we inherit our kinks. I don't know which of my 6 total parents or 2 biological parents I've inherited these things from. If I had to guess, it'd be my daddy. But that's neither here nor there. Oh, we are bringing my cousin on for our episode. The one that just graduated.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to do her rat shit with my rat cousin. That's what we do.
All right.
Anyway,
Let's roll.
welcome back to another episode of the podcast. We are here to talk about kink and BDSM and sexuality and spirituality and all the places in between. And we have a guest. We got Paul with us today.
Hello.
What's up?
I'm sitting in between 2 deep-voiced men, and it's great. Okay. It's great. Okay.
Bro, you tore up.
Look, I'm always in a mood.
Enjoy the experience.
Exactly. There you go. Okay. So, I'm going to give you an option. Do you want to tell us about yourself first, or do you want us to check in and see how we're all feeling?
We can check in first.
Okay, let's check in. So, here at the Dom Experience podcast, we like to do a full check-in. How is your mind? How is your body? How is your heart? How is your spirit? Right? So, how we feeling? I can go first. I'm already. Let's see. My mind is doing well. I have been easily getting through the things on my list and catching up with getting back into New Orleans from LA. Heart full and also confused about its fullness. Spirit radiating. body, sore and tired. I am back in physical therapy in Cairo, and I was not ready. Checked in.
So we just doing how we feeling, right?
Yeah, mind, body, heart,
Oh, you doing
spirit. Yeah, the whole thing.
All right. I'm feeling good.
Na-na-na-na-na-na.
My mind is excited about a lot of things. So I have a lot of things on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things are like really, really good things because like everything I've been working for and everything I've been wanting to do is kind of coming together how I want it to come together.
Nice.
Despite a lot of I would say hiccups and things that was in my way previously. So like it's good to be in this space right now. It's like the opposite of what the retrograde is supposed to do to you. Like I feel like I'm smooth sailing through this retrograde.
Really?
I do.
That's nice.
I do.
Retrograde's
I
been
do.
kicking my ass.
I do. Like there's been the hiccups, right? But they don't, they don't stay long. You know, it's like that one little that all right, I'm straight. So
Drink some water and keep it
drink
going.
some water and keep it going. Basically. Since I passed out, things been going up.
If you were here on the last podcast, you know exactly what he means.
What else? My heart is open, full. My spirit is like overjoyous and like excited about everything.
Nice.
Full of love.
Nice. How you be, Paul?
I'm good overall. My mind right now is just calm, like coming towards the end of the work cycle for me. My heart is full, like a lot of meaningful relationships, both romantic and otherwise right now.
Nice.
My spirit is joyous, I feel right now, like just a lot of like good positivity happening in my life right now. In my body, I'm tired. Like I said, end of the work cycle. I'm always down for a good nap, some cuddles.
Real.
I just need to, just all the way unwind for a bit. So
Nice.
Cuddles are nice.
Some cuddles and a nap.
big spoon or little spoon.
Yes.
Jetpack life.
Yes.
Jetpack life.
The jetpack life.
I like that.
When you get in, when you need a little spoon. Yeah.
Sometimes it's a jetpack. It's not
It's a
full-
jetpack. Right, exactly.
Nice.
So
I like that. I'm gonna use that one.
Okay, so who you be, Paul? Like, how would you describe yourself? Who are you? Let the people know.
Why we got you here?
Primarily I would say that like I'm an educator and an artist. By
like
trade, by profession, by hobby.
Yeah.
So like day job, teaching, also doing illustrations and stuff, which I haven't been doing as much lately, but hopefully I'll get more into that into the summer. And then hobbies with like teaching and educating about consent and various kink styles and art and incorporating art into kink and just a big confluence of all of my interests and stuff.
Nice, nice. Word around the table is that you are also an electro enthusiast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely an electro enthusiast.
Yes, of the electro play variety.
Yeah.
I am too.
Yes.
So I'm excited you're here because you're the one that got me into it.
Right.
Yeah. And you're a Kinky Salon producer.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm one of the producers for Kinky Salon.
I am
Nice.
too.
Go team.
Which I am because of you.
We had to bring some more melanin into
We did.
the equation.
We did. Yes.
So, yeah.
How long have you been with Kinky Salon Nola?
I went to their first party in 2014.
Wow.
And then I started volunteering in 2015, and then I became a co-producer, I believe, in like 2017.
Yeah, which is around when we came around.
Right.
And then we met you
Right.
at an event in 2017.
Right.
How did we end up there? Like,
I don't even know.
I don't either. I was asking Paul this earlier. I was like, how did we become friends? And how did we meet? He was like,
I think I got
it was at a
invited to
campus.
Kinky Salon through Monet.
Okay, that makes sense.
That does
Yeah.
make sense. And then we saw the events, and then I nerded out and was like, I want to go to campus.
Right. Yeah, the kinky campus. That's what.
Yeah, because I remember. Yeah, matter of fact, I was in her shop one day, and somebody was talking about the last Kinky Salon party there. They were saying like how it was like a pillow party or something like that.
Yeah, we had a pillow party at Sydney's, I believe.
Nice.
I was like, I want to go to that. It's like, well, you got to be part of the group.
Right.
You know, let's consent. Like, gave me the whole rundown, and then I got added to the group. And then I never went to a party though until I got with you.
And I was like, I want to nerd out and do the thing.
Want to go and do the things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now we get to do the things. If you've heard my last poem in the book and or heard us talk about it, we got to Dungeon Master our first party with Kinky Salon right before
the pandemic.
The pandemic hit. And then the pandemic hit. And then I got sad, so I wrote a poem about it. Because I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit.
Sensitive about my
Right.
shit.
And now we get to go back into doing that, and I get to be a producer, which is fun.
Yeah. Wow. What a circle.
Right?
It's
It
a
did,
circle, yeah.
like, for a lot of us, the pandemic, like, stopped things, but it didn't fully stop things. It just,
It's
like,
kinda like
changed the
charge.
path.
Kind of like it was like a charger station. It was
Yeah,
like-
exactly. Because the way I was going into it, I don't think I would have liked it as much as
But
I do now.
it was like a pitfall in the beginning
Right.
for a lot of us.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But yeah, climb back up.
Right.
What is Kinky Salon though?
So Kinky Salon is a consent-based play party organization that was started in San Francisco, and there's multiple
Branches?
units or branches, franchises, however you want to say it, around the country, or around the world. Actually, there's several in Europe. Kinky Salon NOLA has probably been one of the most active units. We've had over 25 parties in the last 7 years, and that's big parties with like 200 to 300 people, all the way down to small, more intimate, more curated parties. And to my knowledge, we're also the only unit that has incorporated education specifically into like our programming.
Nice.
So Kinky Campus is something that we started, and it's just one of the ways that we wanted to reach out to and enrich the community, because we're like, if people don't know what they're doing, then
Right.
like practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect.
Exactly.
That is.
So
Y'all make sure y'all rewind that when y'all watch this later,
Yeah.
so y'all can hear that again.
I think that's one of the things that drew me into the space too, as somebody who was newer into the lifestyle in 2017 and like was interested in learning, because prior to then, the only places that I had been seeing or learning kink was through like online portals,
right.
and you can't get the best kink advice from Reddit. That's not a thing. That is not a thing. On top of not being able to see many black people in kink.
Right.
Right.
Because it's like it's like a secret code, and once you're in, you like there's a slide that slides you right into the money of like black kink life. We found some of that this weekend. But like prior to pressing that button, you're just like, I don't know what's going on here. I just know that I like this thing and I'm interested in exploring. So to be able to come into Kinky Salon and like meet people who are just kind of chill, and then also learn a bunch of stuff, and then also to see you as another like melanated face in the space.
Right.
I was like, yeah, I think we should stay here a little bit.
Yeah, and we were already friends on Facebook.
Yeah, probably.
We were.
Yeah.
Because we do run in
definitely
the same
Because I
circles.
think when I got there, we kind of like was like,
It's like, yeah, I know you from somewhere.
Yeah.
Which is also the fun thing that
it's
happens.
a New Orleans thing. Like, I mean, it's a social media thing, but it's also a New Orleans thing specifically.
Right.
But yeah, like Monet was doing orgasmic manifestation as a class for the Kinky Campus.
Oh, wow.
And that was like our
I didn't
most
even know that.
attended class.
Yeah, we didn't.
Like-
That wasn't one of the options when we came to campus.
That might have been the one a few months before. But yeah, like, so yeah, she was like, I'm bringing that magic. And was like, fuck, right.
Let's
Like,
do it.
Let's do it. Let's get it in there. And like I said, like it was the most, like by far we had to like turn people away.
Nice.
wow.
But that just goes to show you, like, when blackness and our magic and how we move through the world is incorporated into things properly,
Right.
and it's not like an appropriation thing, it's not like a fetishization, it's like I said, like thoroughly incorporated. We were like working with her, is like, what do you want to bring to the table, what do you want to teach people? When it's done in that way, like, it's always amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Right. And deserves to be highlighted and uplifted and continued.
Right. Y'all, when we had y'all do the dungeon mastering the first time, like, that was by far the most, like, comments and compliments we've had after a party in regards to the dungeon space. And everybody was like, yo, they were dope. They had the music going. They were doing the vibes. Like, everything was just chill. I was like,
Right.
oh,
And you and I
yeah.
have talked about music before.
Right, yeah,
Like,
specifically, yeah.
what helps to create like a sensual experience
Right.
is not always the same depending on what cultural group you're in.
Right.
And I would love your opinion on this too, but I'm gonna come back to it. What we came into that Dungeon Master experience wanting to do was like create a safe space, kind of like we'd created with the Dom experience for our community of like folks to explore. Like we did a demo, we did a scene, and then it was like I just remember walking around with the Wartenberg wheel, like. Have you ever spinning the pinwheel of death? Like, have you ever had a Wartenberg wheel? Like, before? Can you like give me your arm? Can I do it on you? And so I like ended up going around the circle
Right.
of like, here's what this sensation feels like on the pinwheel of death, and people being like, oh my gosh, this is great, right? But yeah, I have some more questions for you related to this topic that we're already on. Before that, though, we're gonna take a quick break. Take this as your opportunity to check in with yourself. How's your mind? How's your body? How's your spirit? How's your heart? And we'll be right back. This is the Dom Experience Podcast presented by R.A.R.E Media. We'll see you in a second.
Drink some water.
Can you deliver or do I need to pull up to your home? Make sure it's special cause I ain't gonna lie to tell you it's been long. Ain't gotta worry cause I always keep my plug on the low. Just let me get a couple G's of that sweet eye that you grow. Won't be unfaithful cause I know you got that one of a kind. And you show love and let me get that drink for 25. So what's the plan? Because I know that you don't wanna be seen. Let's make it easy, lemon squeezy. I just want my green. Already know what I'm doing on my downtime. Inspire magic, so I'm floating away. Cloud now, a little nimbus. Fly me through the sunshine. And flower keep me grounded, flourishing a new state of mind. Already know what I'm doing on my downtime. Inspire magic, so I'm floating away to cloud nine. A little nimbus. Fly me through the sunshine. And flower keep me grounded, flourishing a new state of mind.
Puts me in sticky situations, rolling sticky them blazes, detached from all my frustrations. Stay high cause I am waving, cloud chasing. I ain't got no patience, so I roll them papers. So amazing how that flower keep me flourishing my power. Already know what I'm doing when I get home. Been a long day, so I spark up, yeah, take a J to the dome. If you need me, please don't, because I'm currently floating. Push 'em in, got me right, straight pressure, I'm taking flight.
Already know what I'm doing on my downtime. Inspire magic, so I'm floating away. Cloud now, a little nimbus. Fly me through the sunshine. And flower keep me grounded, flourishing a new state of mind. Already know what about time when you would tell release, I had to let it ease your mind. I want that time, not no me because I ain't gon' get high. Keep bouncing on me, so I push all of the bread up my eyes. Still be scared, but I tried and now I know it's the truth. So many benefits from smoking for return of you. So listen to me, cause I promise I ain't telling a lie. But you won't know until you spark it up and give it a try.
Welcome back.
To the Dom Experience podcast.
Brought to you by R.A.R.E Media.
I'm Cinnamon Vixen.
And I'm Dominus.
And today we have Paul as our guest.
Here.
I get a different type of excited for every guest. For some reason, I'm like hands to the side of the titties dance is what's happening. Exactly. So before we went to break, we were talking about our first Dungeon Master experience at Kinky Salon Party. And yeah, it was really nice to introduce folks. I think that is the part too. A lot of times when you come into dungeon spaces, there's something actively happening in it. Right. There are more advanced players in the building who've already negotiated their scenes, and they're like going in
standoffish,
right? And like you walked in the door, and the dom for the experience was in a bright yellow bodysuit that said "Call me Mixin" with multicolored socks. Right. And like a yellow turban on my head.
And I had on like some Avengers pajamas.
Yeah, I think you had on Avengers. Was this camp? Was that that wasn't the camp theme. It wasn't the camp theme. I can't even remember. It might have been superheroes. Yeah. So it's like dun da da da, Call me Mixin.
Mm-hmm. With set the mood. Yeah.
Right.
Set the expectations. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so we just ended up with a bunch of people like trying things out wanting to try things out for the first time. Asking like, may you flog me? And I'm like, of course I will. Right.
Yeah.
And like checking in.
Yeah. And that was when we first learned about that wand.
Oh yes, the R.A.R.E curve.
Because we was using it was for a long time, and we found out we could get something that's very price wise cheaper, but still
it might have been like $30 on Amazon.
Yeah.
And it's still it's the stronger uncorded, for lack of a better word, in my brain right now, like massager, and it has a silicone head. Mm-hmm. Like so the silicone head detaches from it for cleanup and puts back on, which was good.
There you go.
I'm going to turn off this battery thing.
Oh, okay.
Keep talking.
I got lost because I got you getting up confused.
You let me distract you?
It did distract.
But yeah, the R.A.R.E curve is my second favorite mic after this one.
Yeah.
But
I caught that late.
And it was my third favorite mic to talk about.
Yeah, I was about to say it's probably your third favorite mic.
Yeah,
exactly.
Second. You get me. Anyway, so the question I was going to ask before that I was about to digress to, we talked about dress code. So one of the questions that I asked another group was like, what clothes do you dom in? Like, what clothes do you top in? What makes you feel most comfortable and most in your element to top? And I think I had heard this come up with King Noir before about going to parties and the dress code being like not to wear streetwear, right? Right. And I watch other people dom in like leathers or in more formal wear. And for me, I feel most comfortable doming in my dunks. And for Wes, who was here last week, another black kinkster who like tops and bottoms, like we talked about what makes us feel most comfortable. And I find that that's another place where things kind of differ, because especially with our parties, there tends to be a theme. Right. And streetwear is discouraged. But I wonder, like, what makes you feel most comfortable to top or dom or
Outside of a theme party.
outside of a themed party?
Honestly, for me, it's being damn near naked. Like, because like when I'm doing things, be it impact or electro, I'm a very like touch-based sensory person. So like I want to be able to like brush my arm against a person or let my thigh touch their thigh, like as much like physical contact as possible within like what's been negotiated
Of course.
and everything. Yeah, so I feel like being able to, you know, like touch with
Yeah.
my
use your
extremities.
full body.
Right.
Full body. Yeah.
Nice. I'm gonna continue to be in bright clothes as much as possible. Like, I think the only time we see me in a black outfit is when I have my like Yes Mixin' shirt because it's black with
Yeah.
red letters on it.
Yeah.
And I like people to be like, "What does that say?" And I'm like, "Yes Mixin'. That's what we say." And I mean, you feel most comfortable.
I just be like, you know, whatever I wear is
What?
like whatever I wear it just feels comfortable. I don't know.
Right.
I'm trying not to.
You're just comfortable within yourself.
Yeah,
So however
yeah.
you're brought to the table.
Yeah. If I gotta wear a theme thing, I try to fit the theme. If it's not themed, I like, you know, I just like whatever I pick up to put on.
Nice. Speaking of themes, our next theme for the Kinky Salon Party is Booty Bay.
Booty Bay.
Booty Bay. Which is now making me think of just like a beautiful booty and calling
Like,
it
could I
Bay,
dress
but
up
that
as-
is not the theme.
Can I dress up as Slick Rick?
Can you dress up like Slick Rick for Booty Bay?
I'm not gonna say
That's
though.
a twist on the pirate.
Right.
On the
Right.
pirate.
We got some pirates, we got some watery experiences. There will be some Lost Boys, I've heard.
Yeah.
Be a
there's
lot
gonna
of
some
Lost Boys.
Boys. A
I
lot of booty.
is a movie, a lot of booty. I think, yes.
Slap ass.
We will have our treasure chest as dungeon masters.
Yes.
It's going to be a good time, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that during our church announcements. But we also just left a themed event.
We did.
We did. We went to experience Covet's erotic opera,
Yes. Well, we got very snazzy.
Les Plaisirs, for a weekend of pleasure. And that was like Met Gala themed, exquisite, glorious beauty.
Opulence.
The opulence, radiating black excellence. So yeah, we left on Thursday. Like, after we hopped off this podcast, I continued to work on packing a bag.
Yeah. I
And
packed my
then
bag. What that was, Friday morning.
Yeah.
Thursday morning.
I was packing up until like an
No,
hour
Thursday
before we
evening.
left.
Yeah.
It was bad. And then I was like sewing costume things on the plane. It was very interesting. It was very interesting.
I was asleep.
Yeah, he was asleep. But it wasn't procrastination. It was actually magic.
It was
Like,
divine timing.
it was divine timing because I wanted to make a product specifically for this event for sensual healing, and I couldn't figure out what I was gonna make. And then like 4 days before, it was like, you're making a full aphrodisiac line. Like, there's a body ritual oil, there's a smoke blend, there's a tincture, there's a tea. Like, there was gonna be a Florida water, but it just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And so I ended up like whipping it in the kitchen for like the next 2 or 3 days.
Up in there like CJ Walker.
Yeah, and like
Come on
we
now.
had been talking about a costume for the event as well. And then like 2 days before, something was like a nude body harness. Like, it's got to be a nude elastic harness. So then I spent the next 2 days like spray painting fabric and rhinestoning and sewing on the plane. But the idea didn't come until literally like 2 days before. It wasn't like I was procrastinating. I was like, I need to make this costume. Let me make it last minute.
Yeah.
Which was very interesting for me. But anyway, erotic opera theme. I'm just telling you so you could picture it, because you will be at one of these next events. And we got there Thursday. Friday was the adult field day.
Where you sold and launched the line.
I launched an aphrodisiac line. It's available now. And we played. There were games. There were fun games. There was a yoni egg hunt. And the eggs were full of everything. We're in California, so there were some mini joints in there. There was some edibles in there. There was waist beads. I found 3 sets of waist beads. I also won a 1-year subscription to Black Touch,
Yeah, I saw that.
which is a Black-owned adult production company. So I get 1 year of like beautiful, beautiful visuals that I need to go claim. I put some of the bath soaks in a few of the eggs. We got told that there was $100 egg somewhere. It was a lie.
Find $100
I did not
egg.
find it. And then I got to peddle some aphrodisiac tea, and it was nice. There were waist beads. There were an abundance of sex toys. So, and one of the vendors, who I got to get names for, we'll probably post it on the page, was they have a Black-owned like concierge service for toys. So you don't just come and
It's so
shop.
crazy.
Right.
You don't just come and shop. The field day was probably the only day you can do that.
Right.
You schedule an appointment, and they work with you individually, like one-on-one, to figure out which toys are best suited for your body and your sexual pleasure, and like all. It was great. They were really cool. Yeah. There was a lot of good stuff. There was like a dildo relay. There was also like a Simon Says with dildos. It was fun. It was fun.
Water time.
Water time. And
If you're watching this, water time.
Hydrate.
hydrate.
You
And
know who you are.
exactly. So we had that, and then we had a kinky game night for the members of the group only. And then the next day, we had a rehearsal for the erotic opera. Oh my gosh. And then we had the erotic opera, and that was opulent. What did we do?
We did a specially tweaked version of 2 different poems. While Cinnamon danced to my words, of course.
So it was a meditation to pleasure. And I debuted my new nude sparkly outfit,
So not playing.
which had no thong on it. There was no underwear for it, so there was just ass and pussy out.
Not
It was the
necessarily.
perfect place to. At one point, there was literally. I knew. I turned. I felt the air hit my lips. There was. I told you. I was literally on the ground. We knew what was gonna happen. Pasties and all, but the rest of the performances were so
Oh my god.
good. I got to meet Zeroya and their pup. There was rope.
Yeah.
There was a whole like moan track, like in sensory deprivation. Like there was fire play.
Oh my god, the fire play, man, from the Pro-Ho. The Pro-Ho show.
King Hef did a demo too.
King Hef did a demo. Yeah, it was good.
It was really good. It was really opulent. It was very pleasure driven. And then after that, like for the members only, they got to go to like opulent dungeon session. And we had fun.
Yes.
Yes. I got to watch some electro play and some more fire play. Dominus got to practice his rope skills. I got to get tied up. I got to try the spreader bar, like the metal spreader bar for the first time.
Yeah.
For the first time?
For the metal one. Like our favorite thing to do is like the leather and cloth one with the handle, because then you got to hold on to the handle, or you could yank somebody with the handle.
Right.
But the metal one I hadn't tried. And so I was excited about that. And I got to watch somebody get electroplayed with like feather floggers, which was fun.
Yeah, that was cool.
And so Dominus learned fire play,
Yes, and I learned fire play.
which you've probably seen by now if you follow us on Instagram. And I'm excited because you got a couple months before the next experience. So
Yeah.
like,
I'm gonna be on stage like this.
Level up.
it's such a great level
I'll
up.
spell my name.
I got to get my heat tolerance up. Yep. And then we came home.
Then we came home.
Well, I mean, I came and then we came home.
I see what you did there.
With a whole bunch of new products and a whole bunch of like new friends in like the black kink scene, which is great. And some of them are going to get to be virtual guests on the podcast, and we're going to be guests on their podcast, and they'll be here soon, and so you'll get to meet some of them too.
Hey.
They'll get to meet you. It's going to be a good time.
I'm looking forward to that.
Hey. Okay. So those were our themes. Paul, I want to know more about you.
Okay.
What do you want to know?
How long have you been doing this kinky thing? And in what ways?
I guess it started when I was in New York in 2011, and just like coming across people in bars talking about shit, and then you know, somebody's like, "Oh, I got these different toys and shit in the back," and just hanging out with people and watching people do different stuff, and then coming back to New Orleans in 2013, and then going to the Kinky Salon party. That was like my first like actual like party. And yeah, just like through Kinky Salon and Munches and like other events and stuff around the city. I never really got into like the like Noble or OTK scene or any of the like actual like dungeons with like hard BDSM. Most of my stuff has been through like interpersonal meetings and through like parties and house parties and stuff like that. So
For those who don't know, what is a munch?
I would say that a munch is just like a soft kinky meetup, like explicit stuff doesn't really have to happen. It's more just like a kind of like a meet and greet, basically.
Nice.
That has like the further element of like explicitly like
We're all
sexual
kinksters
energy.
here.
Like
Yeah. Nice.
Gotcha, that makes sense.
Nice. Nice.
What?
Your favorite part is coming up soon.
Oh, that's what I was waiting for.
But before that, so I looked at your, like, we have all of our guests fill out a form so that we like all know what we're coming into.
Right.
And I saw that needles and blood
Yeah.
were like on your list of things that you're well versed in or things
Right.
that you could teach or talk about or show others. And for those who like watch the podcast, they know like me and blood don't really mix. But I'm very interested in like other people's interest in blood, and I'm also interested in like what needle play looks like. So if you could talk a little
Same.
bit about those two things. Like I have access to them, but I don't know how to use them, so I won't use them. Obviously, safety first. But I'm interested.
And I want to learn how to use them, of course.
Mostly they're just like the little needles from a hypodermic needle, like the little inserts. And for needle play, like there is blood involved, but like it's not really
Bloody.
like if you're doing it right, because mostly you're just piercing the epidermal layers of the skin. So you're like pushing the needle in and then pushing it out, like in and out, like a U kind of. And for that, it's like it's the initial feeling of like the needle going in, the needle coming out of the other part, and then like you leave the needle there. And while the needle is there, you can tap it, you can twist it, so people will feel like their skin pulling and twisting, and there's also like a little bit of impact with that. You can do things like making patterns, just like having needles in a pattern. You can cross needles up, and then that creates like a little button in the middle, and like you can like press the little button, and it kind of like gives the person like a sensitive area where like nerves and blood and everything is flowing, so it gives like a interesting sensation right there. And then in regards to blood, for one thing, it's like something that like for me it's with specific people. Like it's fluid exchange, so
Right.
You're not
Fluid.
necessarily imbibing other people's fluid, but you're interacting with other people's
Exactly.
fluid. You can imbibe if you want to. I'm not particularly into vampiric shit like that, but yeah. So like, there's like general bloodletting. One time I had somebody, because my veins, like people love like taking blood from me when I'm like donating blood, because it just squirts out. Like it's easy. My veins are easy to find. So one time I was playing with somebody, and so like they took the needle, the same needle that you would use to
Draw blood.
and it was just the needle, not the bag. So they basically tapped my vein and left the needle there, and then once they like let go, it basically just like skeeted out. It was like Spider-Man. It was like So I was like a little blood fountain or like a little blood sprinkler.
That sounds so cool. And also, you see what my eyes are doing.
Right, yeah.
This is what my eyes do anytime there's like blood around.
That's
But I'm all
wild.
like, but the part of me that's a like kinky nerd is like, that's so cool.
Right.
Couldn't be around it. That's so cool.
That's
Would love
wild.
to see the comic animated interpretation of it.
Right.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and then like another aspect of blood play that I've not actually seen anybody else do is you have the little, I forget what they're called. It's like a lancet, like a little lancet machine. Like so I grew up with two grandmothers who had diabetes. So they would always like have to stick
their
their
finger.
fingers. And then one like not related to them, but I was familiar with the devices because of them. But then one day I was like sitting around and I'm like, well, shit, like I can take that same device, prick my finger, and then like have blood come out. And then like I can use that blood to like
Amnesty.
draw
I know
on
what that
somebody,
is.
you know, or do different things like that. So
that's
walk
cool.
around with, like little bloody
sounds
fingers.
so much fun.
You know, and so like in that
hate
way, I
the
like
pain.
get to incorporate like
That's not that
illustration and like stuff like, you know, so yeah, that's something that I've not seen other people do
That's really
with
cool.
those. So
Yes, it's not that much pain. I also had a diabetic grandmother. Can you press that button? And so every once in a while, she would take my blood sugar. And the thing about me is, I do not have easy veins to like. I don't flow, and my fingers are always cold because circulation just doesn't. Just doesn't do the things we want it to do. So I would regularly, she would have to prick it multiple times and or have to like do the full massage thing. And I didn't like it because I had that pin pricky sensation. That being said, I'm like, but if I was using it,
right.
that sounds really... similarly, people will poke me and no, it's only recently that blood will actually flow or that they won't jump or that I won't push the needle out of my body. That sounds so cool. There's a
I'd love to watch that.
yeah, he would. I would let him narrate it to me while I do this, and or stand there like this and just open and
Shit, I would like to do it and then have him narrate it while it's happening.
look. That's the second request.
You want to film that?
That is the second request for a
Yeah,
narration of the
that
session.
can
Look, we
that
can
can
make
be
this happen.
arranged.
You heard
Or
it
better
first.
yet, would you do that on stage?
yeah. I'd do that on stage.
We have our birthday experiences coming. Have we told you about the experience by now?
Yes. Yeah.
So we have the experience coming up in August and in November. We will probably do a little bit of a content warning before.
Yeah.
But you know, anyway, I was gonna say something.
We got some good shit coming
We got
up.
some good shit coming up.
Mm.
Some great shit coming up. What? Okay. But before we get into more shit, we're going to take a break because if you just heard about that and that was a lot, I'm going to let you breathe it out before we continue.
Somebody in the Hito group said, I'm going to pass on the needles.
Yeah. So when we come back, I'm going to have one more tidbit about needles and then we're going to move on. This is the Dumb Experience Podcast presented
man,
by
that's
R.A.R.E
funny.
Media. We will be right back.
I need you to play fair with me. I need you to show me that you care for me. And only me. Can't you see? We're falling down a rabbit hole. 'Cause you can't keep it honest with me.
Welcome back to the Dom Experience podcast presented by R.A.R.E Media. I am Cinnamon Vixen.
And I'm Dominus if you're just tuning in.
And this is
Oh.
not the Spider-Man bloodletting arms.
Yeah.
See, now I just
I'm a
want,
nerd, man.
Now I just want like the needle with like a plug, and then it's like, is it time? Okay.
Ah, skeet.
Somebody said
From the
music
window to the
dope as
wall.
fuck. You heard me?
Yes. Props to Johnny for curating
Somebody said
music.
the music dope as fuck.
Hey. If you're following us over in our behind the scenes on Instagram, you got to make sure you got the link to YouTube up because that one's always streaming no matter what craziness Instagram throws at us. That's just the behind the scenes. But
Right.
just like we've done with all of our guests, we had Paul go ahead and take the BDSM test, which this wasn't your first time.
Nah.
No, okay. Yeah, it was our other producer's first time.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not your first time taking the BDSM test. But was it your first time taking the sex values test?
No.
Which one do you prefer?
Either.
Probably out of the two, the sex values test, mostly just because, like, I don't know, I just feel like the language of some of
Yeah.
the BDSM test one is just,
Right.
I really want to like the sex values test over the BDSM test. And it's because of the language. But the BDSM test has so many more questions for people who are new to the lifestyle.
right.
And thus, like, gives them a little spectrum to start with. But I'm always like, I just want to let you know the language.
Right.
Just filter out some of these connotations. So we need to find a new test that does all the things.
I'll create one.
You always want to create the thing.
I mean, if it doesn't exist, why are we waiting for somebody else?
I mean, true. And if somebody has the code to code the quiz, then I got the questions, probably. So collaboration time. Let's do it. Anyway, let me pull up your results.
Yeah.
Dominus, you got the BDSM. You want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay, so on the sex values test, which is the one I like to talk about. On attraction, it had you with 85.7 feminine attraction. So
Okay.
feminine energy. It has not reached the point where the test, once you I think reach 90, is just like it's female. Like this is where you are.
Right.
Or I think it might say women, which is even better. But yeah, 85.7% feminine attraction. On the sex drive side, like pretty much everybody but myself in the group, you're at a 96.9, which is a hypersexual sex drive.
I'm wondering where that other 4% went.
Right? Well, right? It's not even 4. It's
It probably was
3.1.
like
3 point.
You probably you probably put like a 2 or something on porn.
Right. Yeah. Oh, no. Porn was all the way at the.
All right.
I don't know. It said you needed 3.1% of a nap over on the hyposexual side. Every once in a while, we need a break. On the dominance axis, you're pretty firmly in switch, 58.3% dominant and 41.7% submissive. What was the switch percentage on the BDSM test?
This one I think I saw 45, but let me make sure. Yeah, 45.
Percent switch?
Yeah, 45% switch. Which is about half.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
Deviance axis, you're balanced. It's got you with a 56.3% deviant and 43.7% pure. And I feel like the educator side of you
Is the pure side.
is the balance.
Right.
The balance to the deviance. It's like we're going to
Balancing the
ease you
freak.
in
Right.
nicely, and now
Skeet.
and then
I'm not gonna just like shock you. I'm gonna teach you how I'm gonna electrocute you before I do it.
and then I'm gonna buzz the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
With consent. And then finally on your affection axis, this is the first time I've read open as the affection axis description. It has you as 31.3% affection and 68.7% hedonism, which I find that a very interesting, like 31% is enough of affection for balance
Right.
on this test. It's not 50-50.
Yeah.
31.3 is enough for us to call you balanced. As long as you got enough affection in there to balance out this hedonist, you're good. You're balanced.
Well, I mean, like, I feel like the questions didn't specify, like, how am I with, like, a partner? Or how am I with, like, a random non-partner person? Because I feel like that can be,
That's the difference.
different dynamics.
Exactly. One of these days, we really got to talk about, like, the sexual spectrum of, like, asexual, demisexual, like, hyposexual, hypersexual, etc.
A lot of sexuals.
One of these days.
All of the sexuals.
Ooh, maybe we can have
And
my
the
other friend
romantics
on.
as well.
Exactly, and the romantics as well. BDSM test time.
All right. So one that I don't know, it just stood out to me for some reason is what we I think we talked about exhibitionism before, but this one, it says you're 98% voyeur. That was like the first thing.
This makes
Which is very interesting. Because it's never the first thing. It's like somewhere down the line.
I mean, I love watching people fuck.
as someone who curates events where like
That makes sense.
multiple people fuck.
Could I ask, is that something you enjoy most about the parties, being able to enjoy that voyeuristic side of yourself?
It's one of the elements, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I like seeing how people do what they do.
Yeah.
Can pick up pointers. I'm like, oh shit, I never thought of using leverage like that. Or like different pervertibles. Like, oh,
We love
I'm gonna use
pervertibles.
a pillowcase like that. Like everybody has a pillowcase. Most
Right.
people have pillowcases. You got
Well.
some homosexuals that don't have pillowcases. So.
True.
What you
See-
call
you
them?
see a
Homosexuals.
homosexual, you know who they are. You out
I
there.
dated one.
Y'all out there right now. Some of y'all
dated-
probably watching this.
I dated two.
You go around and you lay the good pipe. You couch from couch to couch.
Two.
I think I used to be one.
And then
No, I never.
Some
really
people
was.
don't grow out of that phase.
unfortunately, it's quite unfortunate.
It also says you're like 49% vanilla. That one stuck out to me too.
Okay, so I think with that one, like a lot of the questions on that survey had to deal with specifically explained power dynamics. So like I'm not into age play.
Yeah.
I'm not into master slave, like any of that type of stuff.
Especially with the language that they use in the
Yeah,
test, it
like-
just seems very
Yeah, I'm like,
intense.
so like a lot of that stuff, like,
Yeah.
I'm not really into. Really, like, power dynamics in general are not something that I personally like. That's like not the vector of most of my play. Doesn't involve power dynamics.
Yeah.
It's explicitly with like, especially like power dynamics and role playing and stuff. I'm just like,
yeah.
like race play. Like, had like a big conversation with a bunch of people about race play, and I was like, yeah, I'm not into that shit. But then I went to a party a couple of weeks later, and it was a smaller party, so there was like a circle up where everybody like introduces themselves and says what they're into. And I don't know what it was, but that night I was like, I really want to flog and beat the shit out of some white women right now. And like 5 women were like, yo, beat my white ass tonight. And I was like, word, we gonna do that. We gonna do that.
There's
And like I
so
wasn't thinking
much-
about that as race play at
Because
the
there's
time.
so many
but then
different
because of the dynamics
forms and
involved,
variations.
that was a form of race play.
Yeah.
So but yeah, just like with that test, it's just like the specific questions were, I'm not really vanilla.
Gotcha.
I mean,
But-
we know.
yeah.
We
That's why.
see it.
That's why. That's why.
Right, yeah.
I had to ask.
Yeah.
And also another one that stood out for me is rigor. Are you like well versed in rope play?
So that one kind of surprised me when I saw that. I hate rope. Like,
What?
I I do not enjoy rope on my body. I do not enjoy putting ropes on other people. If y'all look at my Instagram, there's a picture of me with ropes on me, and that was only because I was with like a very specific person for a photo shoot.
Yeah.
Like ropes, just to me, it's like that whole like lynching thing. Like it's
Yeah,
just like
it brings back-
It doesn't like
Gotcha.
it's an epigenetic. Like I'm
Yeah.
just like ropes just don't feel.
You feel like ropes
Right
how
with
I
me.
feel about white people in whips. Like
Yeah.
I can't be. I love impact play. I love the sound. I love watching it. I cannot be around specifically white men and then white women with a whip.
Right. I'm not being
At any
flogged,
party,
period.
I don't want to hear it. That is the moment that I vacate the building. Mm-hmm. Even if you're just playing with it, I can't. Like even at shows,
Right.
like folks who add sideshow and circus work and whips, I'm just like, this is the moment
I caught too many ass whippings as a kid to
Wow.
to let a grown ass person flog me right now. Like I mean, and
Right.
no shame on other people. I'm not yucking anybody's yum, but yeah, for me that's a no.
I love getting my ass beat.
That's a no.
I love getting my ass beat. I just can't be
Yeah.
around the
You
flogger.
got to try the
fine. You just
fluffinator
gotta-
this weekend.
You
I
gotta
did.
find the right partner and person to play with that can accommodate. You know.
Now, if you are interested in learning more about race play, Melina Lee Williams has some really good content on TikTok, where she talks about why, like her thoughts about it, and also she is in a slave master dynamic as
Right.
well. But the way that she talks about her dynamic and why it is not for everybody, and why, like specifically how intentional you have to be in any type of play,
Right.
and the red flags to look out for are so good, so good.
Where do you fall in the spectrum of sadism and masochism? It's saying here you're like 45 and 42, or like you're in the 40s there, but like
Right.
like put that in words.
So I enjoy inflicting pain on other people, but that pain has to be pleasurable for them. Like I'm not like, so I'm a sadist or in the fact that like I want to hurt people, but I want that pain to be pleasurable. Some
Right.
people just want to beat the fuck out of people and they don't care about how that other person feels. For them, it's a very one-sided transaction. Like they're like, I get to whip the fuck out of somebody. I get to hurt somebody.
Right.
For me, it's a reciprocal thing because it's like I only want to do it if it's going to make you feel good.
Right.
And then conversely, like there are different things like electro, like needles that like I find pleasurable on myself as well. So I've
Nice.
fostered those types of relationships with specific people that I'm like, okay, I trust you. You can do this with me. So
Gotcha.
I wanted to go back a second. Ropes are not your thing, but is
Right.
restraint,
yeah,
because that might be
Right.
why the rigor
right, yeah,
number
yeah,
is
because
so
yeah.
high, right?
There were questions about restraining
Other forms
and
of
it doesn't
restraint.
it doesn't specify between ropes and other restraints. Like I said, pillowcases
Right.
are
And on this test, they don't do a restraint percentage or restrainer.
right.
It's
Yeah,
rigor.
that-
Rigor,
it's
yeah.
straight
Yeah.
Was there anything other than the what that was that shocked you?
Vanilla?
No, I think it was rigor that shocked him. Was
Oh,
there
yeah.
anything on here other than rigor that,
was
shocked
surprising?
you? Oh, surprising.
Interesting. Intriguing.
let me pull it up real quick. Brat Tamer.
yeah.
It's like, I mean, it's a relatively, I mean, it's 36%, but I was like, I don't,
Seems like you don't like rats.
yeah, right. Like,
I know that face. I make that face.
nah, like,
I don't like
nah, like, I just don't. I'm like, which is maybe why it says I'm a brat tamer. Like, I don't want you to be bratty. Like,
Right.
Right.
And it's
We
so
are
low
adults,
because it's
like-
brat taming isn't pleasurable. Per se.
right. Yeah. Like, I'm like, nah,
Somebody changed their name from brat tamer to chaos curator. because they, on the other hand, enjoy. It's not so much taming the brat. It's like they're there to curate the chaos that the brat provides.
Right.
So to keep that in line,
Right.
but like encourage it, but also
Right.
punishment in it also. Like it's a part of the dynamic that they enjoy.
For me, it's also like it falls into like the realm of like age play, which I'm like, I'm not your dad. Like I'm not. So yeah, somebody acting bratty to me is like you're acting childlike. So
That's
Feel
how you
that.
receive it.
I feel that.
That makes sense.
That's all I got for this.
Did you have any questions for us? Because I mean, we talk, but
Right.
we haven't sat down and had one of these type of chats.
Real, I mean, like y'all are both poets and performers, and y'all have both like curated events specifically for people of color around your poetry and doming and all of that. And for me, it's like, as a person who produces parties and events, like I'm always trying to like get more melanin in the room. And so like, I mean, which is also why I wanted to bring you on as a producer. So as people who produce events primarily for people of color, like what do you all feel like is, like how do y'all foster that? Like, is it just like because you've built up the social cash with the community and they know y'all, so people, show up for that? Or, I mean, it's not like there's not like a magic word or anything, so.
So what I've found is that we create a calming, comfortable, safe and sexy environment. Like John's energy is just very soothing,
Right.
and encourages people to open up no matter where he is or what he's doing. And I'd like to nerd out and tell people about things all the time, and then also like calm and comfortable way. And so we've just kind of opened up that space to folks as they engage with us. I don't know how people find out about half the shows that we're doing. Some of it's social media, some of it's word of mouth, some of it's just divine alignment of folks. But then once they come, they circle back to us.
Yeah.
And so now I
think
know
a lot of it started like for when I was doing Sex
Sex
Live
Live.
and Sex versus Love shows. A lot of those folks have been following me, and I'm very
while.
open about everything that I do.
Yeah. I've seen your Facebook posts.
Yep.
So I like those. A lot of people have secretly reached out to me. It was like, hey, were you doing this or were you doing that? Or if you ever do this,
Let me know.
Let me know. Then I was like, I for a while since 2017, I had a Facebook group that's like kind of catered to kinky talk and sex and all of those things because of the Sex Live events and things like that. So through conversations and just a whole bunch of things, like one night I was like, hey, we're gonna do this thing called the Dom Experience, and I'm gonna invite a whole bunch of people to this hotel room. We're gonna explain kink, and
Like
if
what
you
a
wear
session
this
looks
color,
like for us.
and we did it based on our consent. If you wear red, that means you're consenting to only like come and watch. If you wear yellow, you're coming to watch, but you might
participate.
Green, it's like if we ask you, you'll do something.
And I think black was helping co-dom.
And black is
if
like
you
you
were
would
needed.
help like either co-dom or you would be the active submissive blanket consent basically.
Yeah, which obviously can change.
Which can change. And that's how that part of it started, and then it just kind of grew from there. And then so we already had like a small following that trickles down.
And then as far as like the other, so part of it is that we've created the space that we want to see.
Yeah.
So like I ended up doing R&B, A Night of Sensuality, which was like an all black music burlesque show because people were seeing me do burlesque at Sex Live they were like, I want to see you perform, I would invite them to a performance, and then I would be the only black face in the room, or like the performers who I love dearly like weren't dancing to songs that other people thought were sensual. It's the same thing that we talk about when we were coming to parties of like music, there's a lot of fun stuff happening here, but this music is not sexy to me, and like this is not setting the mood for me in a way. So like as I continue to be on the production team, like I'm constantly thinking about ways of like how can I introduce the community to new performers, or like how can I also serve as a bridge for this space that I really enjoy, while also making it a space that they won't feel othered and or like not connect to, because of like more superficial things like music or who they don't see or like will see in the space. So I'm working on it. We're working on it.
Working on it.
Yeah.
I gotta.
And I just think in general, kinky stuff is just so taboo in our community.
So damn taboo.
So that's one of the main reasons I talk about it openly as well.
Need to get on,
and that's
with
like
it's coming.
That's been the amazing thing to see about the experience is how it's grown and how the audience has grown with this. Because when you come to the experience, we're not asking you to come to a sex party, right? Or we're not asking you to just come to a show. We're like giving you an opportunity to voyeur and to try some of these things so that you might feel comfortable going to. And that was the thing with the Dom experience too, is like we were hosting these smaller scale things so that if you then decided you wanted to go to a kinky salon party, you had a better idea of like what to expect going in, or what you might encounter, or what this Wartenberg wheel is. And so now it's just finding ways to like fuse and bridge.
We need to do another Dom experience.
We do. We need to do another Dom experience.
I will be at that next one.
Yes. So yeah, I do find a lot more folks reaching out to me from the kinky salon community, and now it's also about getting the community that we've started to cultivate out into trusted spaces.
Which is a process.
It's a process.
I mean, like, for example, like in production meetings and stuff in years prior, it was always like, how do we, because we want to be as inclusive as possible. So it's like, how do we get these different groups of people to attend? And for like one thing, like we're like, how do we get a bunch of gay men to attend? And then, so we spoke to a bunch of gay men and they were like, we have establishments in places like the Phoenix or whatever that we go to. So like, they're like, we don't really need to go to your events. That's why you're not seeing us there. But then that snowballs into if somebody that is, you know, of that orientation shows up and then they don't see anything like that, then they're like, well, why am I here?
Exactly.
And it's the same thing with black people and people of color, except I did not, until y'all started doing y'all's stuff, like feel like there were very many safe spaces outside that people could go to. So I'm like, they not only are they not coming to a space that's trying to be inclusive for them, but they're also not going to, like, they don't have like how the gay men, exactly. They don't have a Phoenix. Yeah, they don't have those spaces. And like John was saying, Dominus was saying, it's so taboo in our community, like speaking of sex, or even like just how consent is, you know, basically it's not non-existent, but it's like not emphasized. Like as young men, you're like, oh, you gotta press, like, you know, so yeah.
And so that's why we have the podcast. That's pretty much why we do all the things that we've been doing.
It's not necessarily to get more ass.
And it's obviously not to get more money, because my sessions are the lowest Dom sessions I've ever heard of. It's about community and about getting people safe ways to access pleasure and safe ways to explore, because I didn't have that, and he was that for me, and then Kinky Salon was also that for me. So like that's why we do what we do, and it seems to be working. Like the last experience, both experiences, we've had people come to us specifically and be like, this space is necessary, like thank you for creating a safe space for us to just be black and kinky. And I got good semblance of that too at the Experience Covet event that we went to. But those are like kinksters from all over the country that like are convening once once a quarter, or twice a year.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I do have one question, Paul.
Yeah.
And, well, you now too as a producer.
Sure.
The first kinky salon event I went to was a very smaller kinky event that was at the whatever that hotel was, St. Charles.
Pontchartrain, yeah.
Are y'all gonna do more events like that outside of the big parties?
Yeah, we've talked about having some smaller parties. We also have been doing speed dating.
Yeah. Polyplatonic speed dating, which we're going to have one next week at the Domino on St. Cloud on Wednesday night. So yeah, like that's a good place to like come and meet people that are probably going to come to the party, but also just to meet. It's just a fun way of doing a meet and greet.
And there has been one kinky campus. There will probably be another one in the fall.
I would like to have one sooner than the fall.
Summer
and
school.
Summer school. It's with smaller events. It's as with big events, like finding a venue.
Yeah.
That's
Finding a venue that can, facilitate what our needs are for that specific event. So things like hotel suites and stuff like that, that's very doable. It's just, cost.
Yeah.
And then figuring out, what spaces. So
if you are a person who knows of a venue that would be into what we do, let us know. Slide
any
in
of the
DMs.
things that we do.
Right. Because we're always looking for community-oriented venues and spaces and places.
Church announcements.
Church announcements time. Okay. I've been catching up with this week. So we're going to leave here and have a little bit of a date night. And then Thursday, nothing. Friday.
Thursday, Faye's Gone Wild.
Oh, yes. You're right. I'm catching up. Thursday, I will be at the Always for Faye's Gone Wild. Doors open at 10:30. Opening ceremony started at 11. I will be selling tit elixirs. You can get your herbal remedy with or without alcohol. And I will also be doing dances in a stage set. Possibly as a night skin, if you know what that means.
And then Friday, I'll be performing in Durham, North Carolina.
Yeah, we'll be heading out on Friday.
Saturday, we'll be working a market in Durham, Carolina. And then Sunday, I'll be performing again in Durham, Carolina.
North Carolina.
And I'll be back
on Monday.
We'll have the Dom Experience podcast on Wednesday. Again.
And then there will also be speed dating.
Speed dating.
Over at the Domino.
Right.
And throughout that week, if you are interested in coming to the next Kinky Salon party, then you will be attending orientation.
Right.
To get better acquainted with the organization and what the rules and structure of the party are.
And understanding consent.
Understanding consent. Understanding our COVID testing regulations, which I need to go post in the group. And getting your costume ready because Sunday, June 5th, will be...
What time?
7 to midnight.
Ooh.
It'll be a Kinky Salon Nola presents Booty Bay, Booty Bay, Booty Bay, Booty Bay.
And I'll be dungeon mastering.
Yes, Dominus will be dungeon mastering and doing a little bit of a performance. I will be dungeon mastering and producing. Paul will be producing.
I'll be all over the place.
All over the place.
All over the place.
I'm going to be a treasure map. That's my costume.
Yes. Yes.
That's beyond what I was thinking.
Yes, and we'll have a treasure chest in the. We'll have 2 treasure chests in the dungeon. Our toy chest and our chest for some booty. Yeah.
Booty. Just for some booty.
Yeah, people can drop some booty in the chest.
Oh,
if they like how we beat
that
their
type
booties.
of booty.
Yep. Yeah. And there'll be some great performances, some great vendors, some fundraisers. It's gonna be a good night.
I'm looking forward to that.
Not
then we're going to
telling-
Hito soon.
And then we're going to Hito soon.
Shout out to our people that's listening.
Yep. So you gotta come with us. We gotta loop you in on more things, Paul.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning. But yeah, I think those are our church announcements. Is there anything else you want the people to know?
School's out.
School's out.
Or in, depending on what you're trying to learn.
Summer school is gonna happen soon.
School's out, fool's out.
Yes. So, follow us at the Dom Experience Podcast on Instagram. We're here every Wednesday. God willing and the creek don't rise. This has been the Dom Experience Podcast presented by I Am a Mom, MOMME. Dom and Mom combined. Anyway, this is thank you for being with us, Paul.
Thank you.
This is the Dom Experience Podcast presented by R.A.R.E Media. I am Cinnamon Vixen.
I'm Dominus.
That's Paul. We out.
Good night.
See you next week.
Your hands trace my outline, slip to my waist, time for on the floor, right? DJ drop it low, low bass line, give me the solo. Let's speed up, cause you're too slow, yeah, cause you're on the place about to blow. Fire, trendsetter, no one's better, no doubt whether we're the pros or amateurs. Fires can't stop me now, we'll burn it all down to the ground. Now give me my crown, we got that body party pumping through the break of dawn. You wanna get invited, play the game and come along. We're going hard and getting lit until it's dumb o'clock. So come on over, hit it harder, yeah, it's time to rock. In the face of the apocalypse, we dance, forget everything around us in this midnight climate.
So follow my lead, and you'll be set free.